Hello, everybody. This is Swati, live from Los Angeles. It's early morning here, and it's beginning to get a little cold. And I realize the people who are joining me from the part of the world where it is much, much colder are probably thinking, she doesn't know what it is to have cold weather, which may be true, but guess what? We are expecting El Nino weather pattern in Los Angeles. What that means is it's going to be raining, it's going to be stormy, and they are asking us to get prepared for El Nino season. It's not going to be just for a day or two, it's probably going to extend over a long period of time. Um, Enough about weather. It's kind of nice to start with talking about weather, right? However, what I want to talk about today is kind of, what should I say, the gist of what we have been doing so far. We have only 3 weeks left for our camp. When we started the camp, I said, not the camp, but this once a week thing, when we started that, I said that, do you guys have any quest? And how do we march more towards our quest? By using mindfulness. And we have been talking about things around it. I realized that I haven't talked that much about the people who have career goals, who have either started new projects and they would like to be successful in those projects, or they would like to find out whether to continue working on those projects or not. And these kinds of things I haven't talked about that much, but I'm going to postpone talking about it to the next week's session. Today, what I would like to do is to actually show you the whole summary of what I have been talking about. What I would like you guys to do is to look at this summary and think about if it makes sense to you. More importantly, if you have already employed these things, I would love to know from you how it has worked for you. Going more towards your quest is going to be, to a certain degree, depending upon what it is, it's going to be a lifelong process. And is that discouraging? No. In fact, that in a way should relieve you of the stress of within 1 month I have to reach my quest. That's not how it works. You cannot put a definite time limit on your quest. But that's the whole point. We do want to have quest. We do want to move more towards it. But we do want to realize all our milestones along the way. And as far as the quest itself is concerned, once we decide what it is, once we know what it is, we want to get non-attached, which is the ironic part. Now, what does non-attachment mean? Not to have intense craving, not to have desperation, but to have some amount of peaceful, patient, even amused look at your own quest. But you do want to move more towards it. You don't want to give that up at all. So I have made a slide that summarizes this approach that I talk about. And let me see if I can show you that slide. I am not, okay, let me see. I'm going to do this, screen share, and show you the screen. Okay. Okay, so now as you can see, mindfulness for your quest. So how do you move more towards your quest? By using mindfulness. Doesn't matter what your quest is. These are the 4 points you want to remember. Each time something comes up, either a doubt comes up in your mind, or a temptation to steer away comes up, or it doesn't feel good in your tummy, or you feel afraid, or sometimes maybe intense craving or desperation or frustration, anything of that sort, remember these 4 points. I've said these points individually a lot of times. Today, for the first time, I'm putting them all together in front of you. Learn to sit through discomfort without getting tempted to steer away. You know that. It's not always going to be all pleasant, but do not get discouraged by failures. Do not get discouraged by failures. I'll talk more about that. That's the whole thing about mindfulness. See, when you are sitting through meditations mindfully, you are observing everything that comes to you, good, bad, ugly, everything. In that process, that's the way you are going to lead life. You're training yourself to lead life like that. When you have decided where you want to go, when you have decided your path, you don't want to steer away from it because of momentary failures or momentary discomforts. All failures are momentary, remember that. Number two, turn towards pockets of joy. So actually, before I go to number two, there's one thing I want to talk about number one. When I say failures are momentary, think about any person who you think has achieved certain amount of success. And it doesn't have to be material success or spiritual success. It doesn't matter what. It could be spiritual success. Think about Guru. Has the Guru always gone through a smooth path? Or there have been times when they have either experienced intense criticism or falling out? Well, there may be good reasons for doing it, but I'm talking about from their point of view. Think about anybody who has been successful. Think about the time when Steve Jobs, CEO of Apple, who was kicked out from his own company, and he went through intense depression for a while. For an year or so, he was not in the public eye at all. But then what did he do? In that process, he learned, and then he came back and he changed the music industry. He created iPhone. Think about anybody. I can give you another example of Chris Germer and Kristen Neff, the people from Self-Compassion. They first came up with, they both had worked with self-compassion in their personal lives as well as in their meditation practice. And Kristen, in fact, had done research on mindfulness meditation. And when she said, one time, Chris said to Kristen, let's offer workshop. The first time when they offered this workshop, only about 8 to 12 or some less than 12 people had registered. 4 people dropped out on day one, and then a couple of them dropped out after the first session. Kristen literally cried because she said this is not going to be successful. But then they both said, look, we are teaching about self-compassion. We must give that to ourselves. Failure doesn't mean that we are doing something wrong. What it means is we need to think about how to offer it. Today, after 2 years, they have such successful workshops that they're all sold out, and they go all over the world teaching these workshops. So that can happen. Number two is turn towards pockets of joy. Do not forget it. It's not all about sitting through discomforts and bearing failures and then doing something better. It's also about pockets of joy. Realize and recognize and experience the pockets of joy when they come to you. Sometimes we fail to recognize it, but do not forget self-compassion, which is self-appreciation included, compassion, mindful living. When I say full, what I mean is with everything. The morning cup of tea included, the shower included, and gratitude. These are the pockets of joy that we experience. Number three, the non-attachment, which is no craving for the goal. The moment you become desperate, you may be doing things that are not right. It may take you away from moving more towards your goal. And number four is very important, getting insight into the next wise step. The mindfulness meditation that we do, it is called insight meditation, and I have said that again and again. When you do feeling awareness meditations, you may get some insights. Now, mindfulness meditation is called insight meditation, not because of the type of insights I've been talking about, which is basically what do I do next, contemplation. Original idea of mindfulness meditation was to get insights into the spiritual nature of things, like law of impermanence. Law of impermanence is an example of what kind of insight, like everything is impermanent and to be okay with it. Law of dependent origin, to actually realize it. These are the type of insights, the spiritual insights that mindfulness meditation, in the beginning, that's what it was supposed to be for. Not just in the beginning, that's the main purpose, is what I mean. But what I'm saying is, and what I've realized is, you can in fact use it to come up with wise decisions. There are times when we have doubts. Whatever I have undertaken, it's not going to be successful. Now, when you say it is not going to be successful, does it mean it's your gut feeling, your intuition, or it's your anxiety, fear that's making stories? Mindfulness meditation will help you to take away the stories and to look at the reality the way it is, and then make a wise decision based on that. That's what I mean by insight, coming up with the right choice. So, with all that, now that I have summarized it again, I would love for you to email me what you think about it, how this path has worked for you. And if there is any doubt you have, do not give up your path and do not give up your goal, at least for the longest time. And if you really need to give it up for whatever reason, let's say there's just no way you can stick to it, you will get that insight. You will know the wisdom of wanting to quit or wanting to give it up. But before that, whatever temptations come up, whatever sense of failure you may get, you can work through it by using mindfulness. And most importantly, remember to smile. Remember to practice what I call pockets of joy. And once you transcend the craving and the fear, in fact, you can have a more solid, a more, I don't want to say blissful because that may sound like a big word, but almost that kind of a feeling for most of the time. So, given that, let's get to our meditation. While I get ready for the meditation, if there is anything anybody wants to say, please go ahead and write it. This is a good time to do that because I am also going to enjoy a couple of sips of my tea. So today I'm going to ask you to do a meditation of your choice. My job is to just remind you to come back to the meditation that you have decided. You can choose any meditation. It could be breath awareness. It could be body sensations. It could be a feeling awareness. It could be loving kindness, compassion. It could be a gratitude meditation. Whatever you choose, I will remind you to come back to that. Wendy is enjoying green tea. That's wonderful. Where are you, Wendy? Which country? I think you are in Italy, from what I remember. So, what time is it over there right now? I believe you are probably 9 hours ahead of me. So it may be a little after 8 o'clock where you are. So speaking of pockets of joy, for me mornings are the best time. When you get up and most of the time you have sun showing even when it is cold, or sometimes it may not be, but there is some light outside and you are nice and warm and comfortable depending upon the season. But you make your cup of tea, and I typically just have one prayer that I say to the sun god. I love to think about the sun as, when I say God, I think about it as a higher power, something that's beyond my comprehension, and it gives us energy. It's 4:30 p.m. in Italy. So it is time for afternoon tea then. And it's probably already dark outside. Um, so, so mornings to me are such joyful, hopeful time of the day. When you are planning the whole day, when you're looking forward to getting things, whatever you want to do, looking forward to doing things. But in the morning, you can slow down a little. That's what I tend to do. And whatever you want to do, exercising, meditation, before going on with your work, usual work, that's wonderful. Some people probably have very early morning schedule when they have to rush out of the house. In that case, maybe once they reach work, they can take 5 minutes again to just probably sit down and meditate and get ready for the day. Okay, so let's get to our meditation now. And close your eyes, breathe in and breathe out. Take a few deep breaths. And pay attention to your breath for a little bit. Bring yourself here and now. And I suggest closing your eyes, but you can choose to leave it open if you wish. If you decide to pay attention to a certain object mindfully by opening your eyes and looking at that object, you can choose to do that. But if you want to do a mindfulness meditation, paying attention to something about your own body, it may help to close your eyes. And now start doing the meditation that you have decided. And we are going to do this meditation for 20 minutes. For 20 minutes. So make sure to sit through the whole 20 minutes. Everything else is outside this door. Right now, you are paying attention to the body or the breath or the feelings to an object. You're attending to whatever you have chosen. You're attending to yourself. So let's go with it. And if your mind is wandering around, if it has left the object of your meditation, that's okay. Just say to yourself, aha, that's my mindful moment. I became mindful of my mind. Let me go back to what I had decided. Come back to what you had decided. Come back to the object of your meditation. And just realize that what you're doing is a wholesome activity. You're becoming more and more conscious of whatever you're paying attention to. Not only you are increasing your focus, if it is a single pointed object, you're increasing your focus. And if it is something more open compared to single focus, single pointed focus, if it is something open you have chosen, you're also increasing your awareness. And awareness is the best gift you can give to yourself and also to the world around you. Awareness, awareness, awareness. Awareness. Bring your attention back to the object you have chosen. And you're giving food to your brain in a relaxed, focused way. When you're paying attention to the object of your choice, you may feel certain things, certain feelings and thoughts may come to your mind. If that happens, just notice that's the feeling I'm getting and go back to the object. If you think about something, notice awareness. This is what, these are the thoughts that are coming to me, and then go back to the object of your choice. If your mind is wandering around, aha, this is my mindful moment. Let me come back to my object. If you notice something else, if your mind goes to somewhere else, be aware of it. Be aware of whatever you notice, and then bring your attention back to your object. And now bring your attention back to your breath. If you had chosen some other object, come back to the breath. Notice the breath in and out. Breathe in, I give energy to my body. Breathe in, this is my center. Breathe in. Breathe in. And as you breathe in and breathe out, say this line to yourself 3 times. Breathe in, I smile. Breathe out, I'm okay. Breathe in, I smile. Breathe out, I'm okay. Breathe in, I smile. Breathe out, I'm okay. I believe we did meditate for 20 minutes. I'm not absolutely sure of the precise time, but it was close. Um, so when you meditate, there may be times when you feel joy welling up in your body. There may be some times when the meditation, in fact, makes you feel restless. Whatever is going on, it's okay. Just be aware. Hans is saying something. Let me see what he's saying. Mindfulness, I like to mention, can also be helpful in minimizing chronic pain. Dr. John Kabat-Zinn and Shinzen Young did write very good books about this and also did provide great meditations for this kind of pain management. It works for me. Absolutely true, Hans. There has been work done in pain management, and as you mentioned, Shinzen Young, yes. Those of you who have downloaded my meditation app to meditate, there is a meditation by Shinzen Young specifically about reducing physical pain. In fact, there was a study that came out, I believe it was just last month. Um, and in that study, what they did was they had divided the people in 4 different groups with different kind of pain management. Um, one group that was trained mindfulness meditation, which fared the best, what they did was after these trainings, it was by the way only for 4 times 20 minutes meditation. What they did was they gave them some kind of heat test and to see how much they can tolerate it. And mindfulness meditation, the people who were trained in that, not only their unpleasantness was reduced, but that their tolerance pain was increased by 27%. That's a pretty good result, right? Just 4 times 20 minutes each time. And by doing that, their experience of pain they could increase. But by the way, these were healthy patients. They were not already experienced physical pain, but these were healthy patients. But then they were asked to go through a painful experience of pain. Um, but there have been other places where chronic pain has been, mindfulness meditation has been shown to be useful for chronic pain. So, Hans, what you're saying is absolutely true. And especially given that you're talking about you yourself have been experiencing it, or and I guess I have told you guys my own experience with my backache, which when I meditate or because of meditation, how I was able to deal with it in a very different way. One of the things that happens is whenever we are going through pain, our mind makes stories, and with mindfulness, We learn to take away the stories and look at the reality, though it is pain, is just pain. And Wendy is saying something. Let me say what she's saying. Oh, this is actually Jeff, Wendy's husband. I seem to have a deeper meditation today and gave loving kindness to people I used to know. Is this possible with longer meditations? Yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. It is something that, yeah, the length is not something that is like decided or um, planned or something. I mean, it should not be either detrimental factor or, but I think what you're asking me is this possible with longer meditations? Maybe because we did it for 20 minutes. Is that what you're saying? I'm not sure. But in any case, yes, it is possible. And that's wonderful that you were able to give loving kindness to people I used to know. And that's a pocket of joy. When you feel genuine caring for somebody, genuine compassion, or genuinely deep understanding. And sometimes it could also be sympathetic joy, that when something good is happening to other people, to feel happy for them in a genuine way. You know, there's a good feeling when you do that, when you're able to do that. Sometimes you may not be able to just notice it. Just notice it. It's okay. We are human. So, in any case, with that, I think I'm going to say bye to you now. It is nice to have this community. I am going to see you, for those of you who want to come back again tonight at 7 o'clock or next week, 7 a.m. In Los Angeles. So I'll see you all next time. And if there's any question, email me any comment about the summary slide that I showed you today. I would love to hear from you. To meditate together at gmail.com, and bye for now.